Hi, Gypsies! Today we will be having Joe Stillman and Thaddeus Becker, from LRS Healthcare, and they're here to answer any questions that you have and talk about their available jobs. We'll also be giving away this Gypsy Nurse towel for those of you who ask questions. We'll be choosing winners at random, and we'll message you after this is over. So I would like to introduce you to Joe and Thaddeus. It'll be just a second.
Hi,
Hello, guys.
Gypsies.
Hi, everybody.
All right, so
Thaddeus Becker with me here today. So,
all right.
You don't need to do that to Rachel, Joe.
All right, have fun, guys.
all right, what's going on, guys? I think the first people to do this, so we're gonna kind of see how it goes. We're gonna play it by ear and kind of bear with us if we've got some glitches from time to time. But we're here to answer any questions you got. We'll talk about ourselves. I'll talk about myself. Thaddeus is not as interesting.
He's going to talk about himself, and he's going to expect me to talk about him too.
Yes.
So.
Also, if you have any questions about the arm, feel free to ask it.
He'll have lots of questions.
Yeah. Also, free towel for any questions. To start, I guess we can give a little bit of background about myself. Actually, Thaddeus, if you want to kick that off, because you've been here a little bit longer than I have.
Yep. So I've been here about 5 years now. Come from a retail background before that. Kind of been in sales for a while. Customer services has kind of been the forefront of everything. Joe and I actually worked together at a previous career as well. Worked at a supplement store kind of locally that's gone nationally as well too. We kind of managed some corporate stores there and then transitioned over to the healthcare staffing industry here in Omaha. As you know, it's pretty big. So that's what kind of got us started in the industry and everything originally, kind of our background a little bit.
Yeah, so I have been here for 4 years now, I think, a little bit over 4 years. Love it. I love healthcare staffing. It's probably been my favorite job that I've ever had. But before that, I was working at a supplement store with Thaddeus. So we've known each other for many a years now, which is very unfortunate. But, I just deal with it, I guess. So just day by day. But then before that, I was actually in social work. So I did a lot of working in like treatment centers with kids, emergency shelter, stuff like that, which I think was pretty cool because it kind of helped me prepare more for the sales portion of stuff, maybe building relationships with people, stuff like that. So it's been quite the different background and stuff, but I think it's all meshed pretty well together. So, and LRS Healthcare, we've been around for 13 years.
2006.
Yep, 2006.
We're into our third building now at this point too. Been growing rapidly in the past couple of years. Actually just got moved into this new building basically last week, kind of beginning of this week is when we officially got in. So we're pretty excited about being in this new building and everything now. Just about the growth of the company, kind of what we're able to do. So
it's pretty cool. I remember when I first started, I was the first class in the old building, and it was about 7 or 8 pods of people, maybe 30 people. And then we ended up just kind of growing, taking over the entire building and then having to move to this building. So it's kind of cool to see how big we've gotten just in the last 4 years. So that's been pretty interesting.
And first one to guess how Joe got this job gets a free swag bag too.
Yeah,
so
and if anybody guesses my good looks, you're right. So I'm just saying. But yeah, I would say that just kind of thinking about some of the stuff that we've done with healthcare staffing. I don't know if this will be a question that's asked later or whatnot, but I think my most favorite thing that I've done for staffing so far, we do this thing called takeover. So we'll go from city to city and we'll kind of meet some of our nurses and we'll take them out and we'll do like a meet and greet type of thing. And that's been pretty cool the last couple times we've done it, just because seeing someone face to face versus talking to them on the phone every single day is just like a whole new experience. It builds even more of a relationship. So it's pretty cool just kind of doing stuff like that and getting to actually meet the people that you're talking to daily or weekly or whatever.
And you think about it, you could potentially be talking to these people for a couple of years and build a really good relationship with them, and then actually have the opportunity to meet them. And that's, like Joe said, that's when it just kind of takes that relationship to the next level and stuff too. They build a lot of trust with you and everything then too. You know, they kind of ask you a little bit more about your personal life. It's not as much just business and everything too. It's a very good opportunity to do that. It's really fun.
Yep. Do we have any questions yet from anybody? Because it's a towel on the line, guys.
Towel on the line, or swag bag if you guess how Joe got the job here.
Yeah, and I've already given you the answer, so
not true.
It's not going to be a hard guess. While we're kind of, oh, hey there. What made you want to? Hi, Facebook user. They don't give us your name, so sorry. Thaddeus, why don't you take that first, and I'll take that second.
That's a good question. Honestly, it was kind of, I was trying to get out of the supplement industry a little bit, kind of out of retail. Was looking into different options as far as next career path goes. I was kind of in sales, customer service already. And then it wasn't necessarily just healthcare recruiting that I had got interested in. It was LRS healthcare itself that was on LinkedIn that kind of just described a bunch of stuff about the job, what it entails, the company itself. That's honestly what kind of drew me in. And then from there, it's like, when I worked in my last position, it was building relationships with people, kind of trying to find the best fit for them in different avenues and stuff too. And so I kind of was able to translate that into recruiting. And that's what has kind of kept me here more than anything, getting into it and then staying.
I would repeat the question for you. In case
our director in the back is saying to repeat the question, so
everybody can hear the question.
Everybody can hear the question again. Because there's just, I'm sure there's hundreds to thousands of you online at this point. So, so the question was, hey there, what made you want to be a recruiter? So for myself, coming from the social work and coming from the sales background in the supplement business, number one, I really wanted to get out of retail. The hours are terrible. And it's just not something that I had just had a kid with my beautiful wife. If you're watching, hi, you're beautiful. I love you. She's so beautiful. She's mad at me.
She puts up with a lot. As you can tell, she puts up with a lot.
But yeah, so we had just had our kids. So I wanted something with a little bit more normal hours, stuff like that. So I'm not going to tell you how I got into it because that's a question for a prize. But I really wanted to continue to do something where building relationships was kind of the main goal. I mean, granted, finding everybody jobs and doing that is the number one thing that we want to do for you guys. But even in my social work, when you're working with the children and stuff like that, it was always trying to build a relationship, trying to connect with them from multiple aspects of life. Same with the supplement business. You have one person walk in the door 1 minute, a complete opposite person the next minute. So just being able to continuously connect with people, build relationships is what really made me want to do this. And then, the hours are nice. But, for us, I know the office is open 8 to 5. But for me to build that relationship, I think you've got to work a little bit longer than that. So it's almost going to have to be, we're open 8 to 5, but my cell phone's on at all times, which is kind of cool. I know that's what we do. I don't know if a lot of people do that, but I know Thaddeus and myself for sure. Cell phone on. My hours are basically 4 a.m. till about 10 at night when I go to bed. So
when you're awake, that's the biggest aspect of this job that that's kind of a takeaway.
You can always get a hold of me for a good gift. We got another question here. What advice can you give one who will be travel nursing for the first time?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a good question. Would you like to take this, or would you like to? I'm pretty good at this question.
It's fine. Go for it. And
okay.
I'll follow up.
Okay. Well, you'll give the wrong answer. Here's the right answer.
I'll correct it.
Well, we'll see. So I would say, number one, find a recruiter that you trust, that you feel has the best interest for you, who's really looking out for your best well-being. I know a lot of times people will get sent to just, the mud and the muck for your first assignment. And that kind of steers you away from wanting to travel because you get a bad assignment. You have the worst case scenario on that first assignment. Your recruiter's not talking to you. You have no way of getting a hold of anybody, and then you don't want to travel anymore. So I would say, number one, find somebody you can trust, find somebody you can get a hold of. You don't want to be in a place that you've never been before. And you are stuck by yourself, you don't have anybody to talk to, anybody to lean on. And then I would say maybe try to find maybe a traveler-friendly facility that will take a first-time traveler. I know that we've got a bunch of facilities up in Washington. This is a cheap plug real quick. Got a bunch of facilities up in Washington in the Tacoma area who love first-time travelers, very traveler-friendly. We've got multiple travelers there right now. And I think that that's always a good situation to put yourself in because you're around a lot more travelers too. You can maybe learn the ropes, but also finding that recruiter, I think, is the number one thing.
More than anything. Yep. And just to reiterate, follow up on that question again, what advice can you give one who will be traveling for the first time? I think it's finding that recruiter more than anything, because that's going to be the first thing, because that recruiter is going to open up those jobs, those hospitals and stuff for you. But you got to make sure that you're comfortable with them. Make sure that they're going to hold your hand throughout the whole process and everything too, because you think about it. You're going to pick up your whole life for 3 months. You're going to head somewhere that you don't necessarily know a whole lot about. You're going to try and find housing. You're going to be there by yourself, like Joe said. If you can travel with somebody, that's even better. Or just reach out to people that have been there. That's the best part about the Gypsy Nurse website, I think, too, on top of everything, is just being able to connect with other nurses that are doing the exact same thing that you are. Ask questions and stuff, too, when you necessarily don't feel comfortable. Sometimes asking it to, other people, maybe a recruiter or something else like that, too. You maybe getting different information. And I think just taking advantage of all the things that are offered to you, if you're with a company that's going to offer, housing options and stuff for you too, you can kind of look into that, get with a recruiter that's going to offer you a bunch of different options for your first assignment. No, not just necessarily one like Joe said that he's just going to try and shove you into to be able to get that first one. Cause that's where a lot of people get burned that first time, and then it's done with traveling from there just because it was such a bad experience the first time around. So I think more than anything, like Joe said, just finding a recruiter that you're comfortable with, that you can ask questions to whenever, and then honestly just feel like they have your back throughout the whole process.
Yep. And I will say something about LRS Healthcare. That is the nice thing. We do offer a lot of that stuff up front. So, we have a travel experience team where if you are somebody who's traveling for the first time, and you don't know anything about finding housing for yourself, you don't know anything about traveling, you don't know anything about hotels, flights, anything like that, we have somebody who will call you basically within 24 hours after that contract is signed and start setting that stuff up for you. They'll send you multiple options. If you don't like the options that they're sending to you, they will also just continue to send you more. So that's just another thing that we kind of offer over here at LRS. Also, as recruiters, we'll do the same thing for you. It's just a little bit more streamlined with the travel experience because they're only doing that all day long, which is kind of nice. So that's kind of cool.
They're going to ask you what you like to do, what type of fun you like to have, what, if you like to go to shows or anything like that too, what the kind of area offers, all that kind of stuff. They're just going to try and make it so it's a good experience for you all around.
Yeah.
You can't ask for anything more than
that. Next question we got from Facebook user. Will you be at TravCon? Who will be joining you? We will both also will be at TravCon. I'll be bringing the strap. So, in case you guys were wondering, let me get this real quick.
Yeah,
you guys were wondering.
Man, you didn't run over it with your chair.
No, I've got one arm. The tag team champs are coming to TravCon, baby. We're going to be there. If you want a shot of the title, baby, booth 414, meet us. Champs. But we'll also have other people with us, but they're not the champ. We're the champs. So, so it'll be me, Thaddeus.
Heather's our director of client management as well. So she is, and I'll be all as far as it goes with clients, hospitals, all that kind of stuff too. So can answer any questions as far as hospitals go too. So very good resource. And then our friend Tony will be there as well. He's another recruiter here at the office. He'll be joining us.
Heather is a veteran to TravCon. I think she's gone
like maybe the last 7 years, something crazy like that. So
your boys are newbies.
Yep.
It's going to be the first time.
We're excited for the experience.
Very excited. Also, just in case anybody was wondering if they want to do something fun on Monday, the 9th, we'll be having happy hour at BLT Steakhouse from 5:15 to 7:15, or for you nurses out there, 17:15 to 19:15 if you're on military time.
I thought he was going to mess
that up. Do you see
what
I did there?
Yeah, I thought you were going to mess that up.
I don't mess up. That's the thing. So, but yeah, we'll be at TravCon. We'd love to see everybody. It's going to be fun. It is our first time, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm a little bit excited. I will hopefully have this off by then, but we don't know. It's kind of up in the air. So if you see a guy with a huge muscular looking arm. It's real, and that's me. So
we'll make sure that he re-tears it before he goes, just to have it back on.
Let's see. What should I expect for a first assignment, and what is realistic to ask for?
Question.
Yeah, that is a good question. If you could elaborate a little bit more on that, like, do you mean like money wise, or what's realistic to ask for as far as help goes? What exactly? If you could elaborate on that just a little bit more.
And I'll try and answer as best as I can, I guess. So what should I expect for the first assignment, and what is realistic to ask for? So what to expect from your first assignment, kind of like we said too. I mean, basically lay it out for your recruiter once you're getting into it and everything too, and be like, this is kind of what I'm looking for. This is what I want happen. And then your recruiter can come back and be like, okay, this is probably what's going to be realistic for you here. You know, let's make sure that everything's spelled out as far as shifts, hospital, everything goes. Here's how we're planning on getting there. How are you planning on getting there? Like, what are you going to bring with you? Are you going to bring a spouse or anything like that? Pets? You know, what are you expecting from your first week? Here's how everything's going to come across for you as far as like first day information, orientation info. You know, and be like, this is going to be 13 weeks. This is how they're going to expect your schedule to go. Just kind of ask all those questions and make sure that everything's going to be, you know, coming across with you. This is where it's going to be very important that you have a good relationship with your recruiter, because you want to be able to just shoot a text, make a phone call if you do have specific questions, you know, coming up when you're looking at your first assignment.
Yep. I would completely agree with that. And that's also going to be where, I mean, if you have a recruiter who's not asking all this stuff for your first assignment, you might want to look for another recruiter. I know that the most important thing is making sure that you're comfortable on your first assignment. So if they're not going through all this stuff with you and they're just throwing you to wherever they can get you into a job, that's probably not going to be your best case scenario. And that might be something that's going to set you up for failure a little bit in the future. So you want somebody who's going to be thorough. I mean, you got to build the relationship. If you're not going to be thorough and you're not going to be, you know, asking the questions and learning about the person, learning about what they like, you know, you might want to keep it moving. So we've got Matt Demmel commented he's not the best recruiter ever. That's funny.
There's a question on here. It says, I've been with LRS for 7 years. Matt Demmel is the best recruiter ever. So Joe's accusing Matt Demmel of getting on Facebook and saying that he's the best recruiter ever.
Also, he misspelled worst. That's WORST. Matt Demmel is the worst recruiter ever.
BEST.
Yeah, sorry. Good question. This is a great question. Been waiting for this one. What happened to your arm? Well, as you can see, let me think of the story I would like to tell for this one. Let me give you the truth here.
I'll verify if it's the truth.
Yeah, and I would like to give you a better story than this, but it's not going to be great. I was helping my mother move about 2 weeks ago, because I'm a wonderful son, human being, family man, relationship builder, just a lot of great things come when you think of me.
Yeah, no lack of confidence either.
No, absolutely not. But no, I was helping my mom move, and I went to pick up a bed. It was obviously the heaviest bed of all time. And when I went to pick it up, I just ripped the bicep right off the bone. And then on Monday, I went for surgery on Monday for them to, so I don't know if you guys know this, but when you tear a bicep, it rolls up into your arm, basically like a curtain. So they had to take it back down, reattach it to the elbow, clamp it in there, throw your boy in the cast. So hopefully I'll get this cast off, like I said, next week. But yeah, just tore the bicep, doing a little bit of moving for mom. We got somebody here. I've had a lot of recruiters be too pushy and not listen to me regarding areas I want to go to. What's a nice way to
let them down easy?
To redirect a recruiter? In my opinion, I like 100% honesty. So if you think I'm being too pushy, you got to let me know. Like, hey, man, I've told you 7 times I don't want to go here. Please stop pushing this. And if I'm still pushing you, it's probably not a good fit. You know what I mean?
Yep. And to reiterate that too. So I've had a lot of recruiters be too pushy and not listen to me regarding areas I want to go. What's a nice way to redirect the recruiter? So kind of at that point too, it's like, I always tell people upfront and everything, I'm going to be as transparent as I possibly can, as far as money goes, as far as position goes, as far as, you know, what's going to be realistic as far as the assignment. Like, maybe you're potentially not a good fit for it. Maybe you are, you know, maybe this one would be a better fit, even though it's maybe not where you want to be. Transparency and honesty on both sides is always the best policy. It's easy to just try and beat around the bush and everything too. But if you can be transparent and honest, it's a good way to get everything done in an amount of time that's going to be, you know, what you're looking for too. So,
yep. But yeah, I think that's just part of that relationship building. Having the relationship to be able to like, hey, you know, we've talked about this before, but also having the relationship to know that maybe they do have their best interest.
Yeah.
You have your best interest in mind. So I think it always ultimately comes down to that relationship. But if you redirect them, I mean, if you, like Thaddeus said, transparency.
Yeah.
If you can be 100% for or honest with them and let them know you don't like that,
Yep.
they should be able to accept that
Yep.
and try to find you something else. Because like I said, you never want to set somebody up to have a bad first assignment. So if you're sending them to the complete place that they have asked 7 times not to go, and you've somehow swindled them into going there,
mm-hmm.
it's probably not going to ever end well.
No, it's going to be a one and done for that recruiter
Yep.
at that point too. And you've already ruined the relationship then with that traveler then as well. You basically shot yourself in the foot by being too pushy and everything, just trying to, as they say, put a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, that's a perfect way of saying it. Nobody's happy with the situation and everything too, and it's going to end very poorly.
Yeah. Very similar like when you have friends that are too pushy.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of let them know.
My nurses will say I'm very pushy too, of course.
Hold on. We've got new messages, guys. Okay. Here we go. What are some of your suggestions for landing an interview this time of year with the market getting so competitive?
That's a good question. So what are some of the suggestions you have for landing an interview this time of year with the market getting some competitive? So I will say this time of year, especially in the fall, it's actually, so it's competitive, but there's a lot of jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Like hospitals are trying to get people in there before the holidays and everything too, because it's super tough to get people in before the holidays. A lot of people are trying to take time off, go on vacation and stuff, see family during the holidays and whatnot. So there's actually quite a bit of jobs. And, I mean, the industry has been getting more and more competitive as the years have gone on anyways too. So recruiters, companies, just like nurses, everybody's getting kind of creative with it and everything too. And I would say probably the best way to do it is kind of open yourself up potentially to maybe a little bit more than you normally would be. Mm-hmm. As far as whether it's, maybe certain dates during the holidays that you wouldn't necessarily work, just be able to make some extra holiday pay, help out the hospital, get yourself a job a little bit easier.
I would agree with that. I would say that the holiday thing is going to be big. If you can avoid asking for time off during the holidays, I know that goes a long way with a lot of these facilities. Because they need the travelers here normally to kind of staff these holidays. That's going to be one of the bigger things. Like Thaddeus said, being a little bit more open, if you had, 1 or 2 ideas in mind of where you wanted to go for the fall or winter, maybe opening up to a couple more. If it's about a week or so and you haven't heard anything, just start gradually open up. You don't have to open up right away. You can see if stuff's moving or not. But if it's not moving, slowly kind of open up a little bit, maybe get a couple more submittals out there, stuff like that. But the holiday thing is huge for sure right now.
Yeah. But at that point too, it's like if you're starting to open up a little bit, like make sure within yourself too, like that is something that you actually want to do, because you don't want to get yourself in a position where it's like, oh, you're kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You're getting a phone call on this and everything. Now the hospital wants you, and then it's kind of puts you in a tough position where you kind of have to decide what's going to be more important. So if you do end up getting submitted to more positions, just make sure you're cool with it and everything. I think that goes a long way for people and stuff.
Next question is, I heard from someone that travel nursing companies will shut down or stop hiring nurses during recession. What are your thoughts about that?
So that's another good question.
Yeah.
So I would honestly say it's probably been, 10 years since we've gotten out of like the last recession where it really affected the travel nurse industry and everything too. Since then and everything, I mean, there's hospitals that have been saying budget wise and everything, they're going to get away from travelers. I mean, as people that have been doing it for a while, most of that never really happens. So anyways too, they still continue to use travelers. Bill rates and stuff might be adjusted, but at the same time, you're still going to be able to find good paying assignments. There's going to be other ones that aren't necessarily as good, but I mean, everything adjusts throughout the course of the industry over the year.
I would agree with that. I think, like that, I said, I think it was 10 years ago for the last one. And I mean, there's just an abundance of so many jobs, so many openings that these hospitals can't afford to not bring in travelers, because otherwise, especially, like your states like California, where you have all these labor laws and you can't put these staff nurses in situations where their ratios are too high and stuff like that. So they will bring on people just specifically so that they can keep those labor laws intact. So they're not over staffing, or they're not over doing too many patients to one nurse in those hospitals.
Yep. And there has been a lot of nurses still looking and stuff now too. So yeah, it is competitive, but at the same time too, good time of year to be looking. Just a good time in the industry to be trying to make a jump into traveling.
Yep. I mean, I haven't seen it slow down hardly at all since in the 4 years that I've done it. I think it's busier now than ever.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And it's more competitive amongst the companies and everything as far as getting people placed and whatnot. But kind of like I said, I mean, we just get creative with how we do it. We try and make sure that our relationship is going to be the best over anybody else. And we just try and use that as our benchmark.
Yep. I don't think we have any questions right now. We're going to use this time for a nice little plug. If you'd like a free pair of sunglasses, that's LRS sunglasses.
Free pair for National Beach Day.
National Beach Day. Go to our Facebook page, LRS Healthcare on Facebook. We posted something on 8/25. If you sign up on that link, you yourself can get yourself a nice pair of free LRS sunglasses.
Who doesn't love it?
Who doesn't love a good
free anything?
Who doesn't love sunglasses, free LRS, if we're being honest? Beaches.
Yep.
So let's see here. We got some more questions. Let's see. I had an amazing traveling experience with LRS doing hospice in Washington. It seems like hospice contracts are rare with LRS. Is that something that will increase eventually? I would love to come back. My recruiter was Julia Granstam, and she is the best. Julia is phenomenal. Great recruiter here at LRS Healthcare. I will say it kind of depends. I mean, it depends what area you're open to, because I do know that we have a lot of areas that have quite a few hospice openings. It's just going to kind of depend on how open you are. I think hospice is a little bit more difficult because it's not your specialties, your ICUs, your ERs, your ORs that are super, super high in demand right now. But I think if you're open to location and stuff like that, I think that we should always be able to find you hopefully something. Would you agree with that?
Yep. And we actually just started the kind of home health, hospice, long-term care division a while back as well too. So we've been kind of putting a bunch of resources into that, the client management side, to try and get new contracts, new hospital systems, and all that as well too, just to try and bump up those areas of nursing as well.
Yeah. Yep. Little fun fact about LRS: we staff everything. So we've got an allied division, we've got nursing. We just started up this home health, LPN, CNA, hospice division. So right now, we're bigger than ever. We're staffing everything we possibly can. So it's going pretty well.
Yep. And like we said, been around for 13 years here in Omaha. We started out in nursing. That was kind of our bread and butter and everything. And about, 3 years ago now, I think, we started the allied as well. And all of that's been growing. And now we're moving into different areas of nursing and stuff as well to try and focus into all that as well. So nothing's off limits for us. You have questions about different divisions, what we offer as far as maybe some different specialties and different areas that normally you wouldn't see travel nurse jobs for and stuff, just reach out to us. We'd love to take a look for you.
Yep. So I do want to just give a reminder that we will be at TravCon, booth 414. If you want to come see us, come for the strap. Hold on. Got to use the one arm to go. Come for the strap, baby. Ow.
Yeah, that was a bad idea.
Decision.
And some other stuff too, I guess. It was like, if you guys want to ask us questions about different hot jobs and stuff, we have different systems that we do, a lot of independents as well. We have Stanford that we work with a lot in California. And Raton, New Mexico at Miners Cofax we do. Joe said about Tacoma, Washington, Seattle area.
We got a great relationship with Stanford in California. We got a couple of super hot OR jobs there right now. I'm going to actually pull this up so you guys can see. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Oops. Sorry, guys. I'm using my left hand, which is not my dominant hand.
Probably let me do that.
No, absolutely. You can't be trusted, if we're being honest. So So if you see here, we do have this OR job. It is at Stanford. It's 4x10s. OR's hot right now, man. I tell you what, I can't even explain to you. Oh, nope, that's Kalispell. Hold on. We also have that Kalispell job, guys. That's moving pretty quick. ICU, hot job. Let's see.
You gotta take that one.
Oh, yeah, I gotta take this one down. Guys, sorry, first time user here.
Actually, might as well just talk
I believe it's gonna be the first one here. Nope.
you do two.
Maybe it's this.
Sure.
You know what, guys? We're just going to talk about it. We're just going to talk about it. We got this OR job in Stanford right now. It's $29.80 gross per week, 4x10-hour days. If you want a little bit more of a breakdown of the pay and stuff, we can absolutely direct message you and stuff like that. But it is a hot job. It'll move quick. We got a real good relationship over there with Stanford. We've also got, let's see, we've got a couple of oncology jobs open over there.
Yep.
That
Oncology.
no cert required,
correct.
I believe.
There are inpatient and outpatient oncology positions as well there right now. I actually have somebody working in the oncology department. She loves it. Just signed her extension there. That we always have cath lab, IR, EP options there too, as well. I have a couple cath lab people there. They love it. Just a bunch of different options, guys. Southeast as well. We got, part of Qualvis and everything that we work a lot with.
If you want to see how to look at all of our options, I'm going to kind of go through this with you real quick. Go to our website, www.lrshealthcare.com, and I'm going to kind of walk through the easiest way to get to it for you. So you come here. Here's the website. It looks real nice and fancy. This is our old building, guys. We're in a new building, just so you know. Click right up here for search for jobs. And that's going to be the fastest way to get to kind of look at, see what all jobs we have. So let's just say, for example, we wanted to look at what jobs we have in the ER. Let's go to, you know what? We're going to hit up this hospice one for, I believe her name, Jennifer? Julia's nurse. I believe Jennifer. I'm sorry if we messed that up. We're going to look for any state. We're going to see what we got for hospice, baby. Let's see what we got. So it looks like we've got one in Minneapolis, Minnesota. We've got some Phoenix, Arizona. We've got Lexington, Kentucky, which a lot of this is nice because it looks like some of this is compact stuff. We got Memphis, Tennessee.
So 3 pages of it.
Yeah, 3 pages of hospice, baby. So, and they'll give you, I think, a brief description of maybe the job and stuff like that. But I think as far as pay goes, if you want to direct message anybody, or if you want to direct message myself or Thaddeus, or if you already have a recruiter here, just hit them up and they can go over the pay and stuff like that with you. So we're back, I guess. Yep. It looks like, what are some of the hot places to travel money-wise for the winter that don't take too long to get licenses for?
Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona
has a ton of positions right now too, and they're just dropping winter needs and everything right now too. Money's pretty decent and stuff too, especially if you'll do nights. They do a night differential down there for a lot of positions. Yep. A lot of the banner hospitals and stuff right now are just pouring out jobs looking for people. So Arizona license takes
walkthrough.
It's a walkthrough, yeah. Yep. If you actually go to the board, otherwise it can take somewhere 5 to 7 days typically. So I would just usually call the board and see where they're at with everything right now. It might be a little bit longer unless you go there, just based on how, it's going to be winter here pretty soon. So people are trying to apply for a lot of those licenses right now. So they'll be pushed back a little bit. But obviously Arizona is a compact state. So if you have a compact license, that's a good one to go with.
I would go for a quick license day. I would go Connecticut, Yale up in Connecticut. I mean, they've always got jobs, especially come winter time. As far as I know, I've got a couple of nurses there. If you're somebody who likes overtime, I would 1,000% suggest Yale, because they'll give you about as much overtime as you want, as much as you can take over there. So that's kind of nice if you're looking for money, looking for a little bit more hours. Very quick license to get, I want to say 7 to 10 days-ish when you apply online.
Yep.
I would say Washington again.
Yep. Washington's a good one. They kind of fluctuate as far as licenses go. You can get a temp license usually pretty quickly. But once again, I mean, it's who doesn't want to be in Tacoma, Seattle area and everything. And then money's usually pretty good. Cost of living isn't crazy. The other thing that I actually found out not that long ago too. So my cath lab pair that's at Stanford, they actually went to California to get their California license, got their live scan done in San Francisco, I believe, applied the night before online as well, and received their temporary license in about 3 to 4 weeks. So I know everybody's always super scared about getting that California license. It's actually moving quite a bit faster right now than it typically does, especially if you go to the board. So
that's a little trick that not a lot of people know right now, because I think we've even had people get a little bit faster than that going to the board, which I know that they'll tell. If you call the board and you ask them, they will tell you that's not the case. But everybody that we've had do that so far has gotten their license, I would say, no later than a month. And normally California is much longer than that. And
even expired licenses and stuff, doing renewals and whatnot too. I've even heard of somebody getting it in a week then after it's been expired, which a lot of times it's California and some other places you typically have to go back through the process again. Usually.
And with the Washington thing too, it's cool because it's a pretty quick license to get, but also, like we said, those Tacoma jobs will take first-time travelers. So if you are somebody who's never traveled before, I don't think Seattle is probably a terrible area to be in to travel. So it's kind of a nice little area to maybe to kickstart your travel career.
And kind of like we said, we have a bunch of people here at the office that have nurses up there and everything too. So the possibility of potentially room with somebody or have people there to travel with and hang out with is definitely there. Like we said, we took all of our travelers out there. What was that? Month and a half ago, 2 months now, maybe?
Something like a month and a half to 2 months, I think.
Took them all out and everything. Everybody was awesome. Had a great time with them. They have a really good group up there. So just being able to take advantage of that is a big plus.
Let's see. Tons of jobs spent on what area? Okay, hold on. What are some? Let's see. Do I need to buy a license for every state? It's going to depend on what license you currently have. If you have a compact license right now, I believe I think there's 28.
What's that?
States you can go to?
Yeah, I believe that's how many it is now.
Yeah, I think it's 28 different states that you can go to. So if you have a multi-state license, you do not have to get another license for any of those other states that are in the multi-state with you. If you go to something outside of that, then yes, you'll have to get the license. If you have, let's say, for example, you have a Washington license already and you do not have a compact, then you would need a license for every single state you go to. So if you're somebody who maybe lives in Oregon or Washington and you want to do all the traveling in the world, not a bad idea to start applying for license now, and that way they're coming in while maybe you're doing your first assignment or getting ready to do your first assignment and stuff like that.
And I don't know, I mean, some other companies do it differently and whatnot too. It's one of those things, you can start applying for licenses, and as you start to work in those states and whatnot too, us here at the office, like, we'll reimburse you for those licenses once you start working in those states. As well too. So that's always a really good option for you as well, just to be able to get money back on your investment, basically.
Yep. I think this is a conversation between Shannon and someone.
Yeah,
is what's happening right now. So just so you know, and I think somebody was talking about some hot jobs. If you have the compact license, Raton, New Mexico, very traveler-friendly facility. I know Thaddeus has 3 or 4 nurses down there.
Yeah. Valencia, Lisa, Melissa. Hi, ladies.
Hi, ladies. If you ever want to talk to me, I'm right here too. So a little bit more entertaining than Thaddeus.
I got Valencia's cup that she got me right here.
That was very nice of you, Valencia. I also love cups. So, Raton, New Mexico, very good relationship with them. They move very quickly. So this would be another thing. If you're like, what can we do to find? I think somebody asked about what can we do about getting interviews this time of year. If you can find those facilities that are moving quickly, maybe it's not super ideal, but maybe it is traveler friendly, or we have people there, so we can back that. That's not a bad idea, just to try that for the 13 weeks to get you into something, so you're not waiting either too long before an assignment, too long between assignments, stuff like that. So, Raton, New Mexico, great facility, very traveler friendly, pretty good pay. And I believe they do 36-48.
Yeah, they'll do a 36-48 for you as well. 36-hour week and then 48-hour week.
What is your favorite part of the job?
Man, I honestly think just the freedom to be able to kind of run my desk as how I want. You know what I mean? Here, at least, I don't know how it is at other companies, but they're not constantly over the top of us telling us, how it's going to be. there's certain thresholds that we can't go past or whatever for money and whatnot. But I mean, a lot of the time we have the freedom to kind of do whatever we want as far as our people goes and everything. I always like to compare it to like your own insurance agency. That's kind of how I view my job here at LRS. It's like I build my book of business and stuff, maintain all my relationships and everything. Hopefully that I do a good enough job where my nurses refer other people to me. But at the same time too, it's just making sure that everybody's taken care of throughout the whole process.
I would say my favorite part of the job would be the relationships that I build with the nurses. I feel like it's not just I'm your boss or you're working for me or type of thing. I think it's, we are a business together. So we're working together to find the right job for you, to find the right fit for you, to build the relationships. I've had multiple travelers now that we're Facebook friends. We text weekly. I think that's just kind of cool. I think it's cool to be able to help somebody build that relationship and then just kind of become, I would say, like business partners with them.
Yep.
Because the longer that you guys can work together, the easier it's going to be for each other and stuff like that. And like Thaddeus said, then you start getting your referrals and stuff like that. And if you got a good nurse that you're working with, they're going to refer good nurses, which is always nice. So, are you married? Sorry, ladies. Your boy's married. Beautiful wife. Have I said that yet?
Yeah,
beautiful wife. She's the best.
Yeah. That's what I said. She has to put up with a lot.
Yeah. Thaddeus, would you like to answer that one?
I am not.
He's not. If that surprises anybody on this live feed.
I have a beautiful girlfriend and a beautiful daughter, though.
Yeah, he does. I have a son. My son is 4. His daughter's 3. It's already been arranged that they will be together, married sometime in life. So, yeah. I don't often hear recruiters talk about case management as a specialty. Are these positions hard to fill? We have a lot of case management positions. I will say that it's hard to find candidates for them.
And a lot of times too, it's just specifically based on what people's experience is. When you find case managers, a lot of the positions we're going to see most of the time, they're going to be hospital case management positions. So you'll have people that have done home health, some other different things where they've done case management, but it hasn't necessarily correlated into what we're looking for as far as what the hospital is looking for, I guess. It's probably the best way to put it.
But yeah, we've got a ton of case management. California's hot for case management usually too.
Even Northeast is hot for case management right now. Maryland, there's been some really good paying jobs.
Yeah, they'll pay well. Case management pays real well.
Yep.
So, also just some more hot jobs that we have. California, we've got some real hot jobs in Modesto right now. ICU positions with, I believe, the October starts are out, so I think they're November starts now. I want to say November 4th or November 18th. It's ICU in Modesto.
Yeah, there was late October yesterday.
Yeah, that could be.
I don't know if they're gone yet, though. They probably are. I mean, that's the thing with California, Arizona, some of those other ones too. Everybody's trying to line up their next one, like I said, to go through the end of the year, figure out what they're going to do for the holidays so they can plan. So a lot of those, if you want to jump on something for the winter, now's the time, especially just to be able to kind of take advantage of that.
Yep. And it is kind of nice, even if you're on an assignment right now, we do have those November starts, December starts. That you can book. That way you're not panicking those 6 weeks out, 5 weeks out, 4 weeks out, then it's getting time to the nitty gritty where you're maybe going somewhere you didn't want to go.
Yep. Because
we ran out of time. So Raton is in the middle of everywhere, baby. Let me tell you something. I just looked up Raton on the map yesterday. You're 3 hours
to
east. You're 3 hours east of Taos, New Mexico, which is
you're about 3 hours, and not even that far, I don't think, from Amarillo, Texas. You're west.
You're about 2.5 to 3 of Albuquerque, New Mexico, which
you're 45 minutes from Colorado too, the Colorado border, which people go up there all the time. There's some cool little towns right along the border and stuff. All my nurses down there always go up to Colorado to see some really cool stuff.
Well, I know Taos is Taos is basically Colorado of New Mexico. So you've got your ski resorts. Stuff.
I had a funny story. I had a nurse that worked at Taos too. Worked for almost 2 months, broke his leg in 6 places snowboarding around Taos and everything. Actually was back to work about 6 weeks later to do his extension then at the hospital, and now he just went perm in Aspen. So this dude, if you want to go, if you want to go skiing or anything like that, Taos, you're not that far from.
You're not that far from Denver. You're about 3.5, 4 hours from Denver.
Yep.
So that's pretty cool that guy did that.
Yeah.
You would never do something like that.
No, absolutely not.
No. We're lucky that I'm at work right now, actually. So
we get hurt too often doing stuff like that. And not doing cool stuff like snowboarding.
Lifting beds. So that's fun.
That was Shannon comment too, by the way.
Oh, Shannon, thank you, and Shannon
from the
Snyder's.
office, thank you.
Ratona's her spot, baby.
Yep.
If anybody wants to chime in on this, I was just going to kind of ask you guys if you have any favorite travel assignments that you've done, any least favorite assignments that you've done. If anybody wants to just maybe kind of throw some stuff out there.
I want to see if there's anybody has done any travel assignments that they've ended up gone permat and then potentially gone traveling again too. What are ones that you've done for, potentially up to a year and maybe have came back again, maybe ones that you go back to every year. We always like to hear stuff like that too, because we like to project that onto our travelers as well. It's like, man, listen to this. And this nurse told us, about this hospital or this experience, love to hear some stuff like that.
We like to hear about the good and the bad, baby, because we don't want to be sending people to bad stuff. And if you guys are telling us it's bad, then it ain't good.
Yeah, like I always tell people this all the time too. You're the one that's going to have to be working there. I'm not. I'm going to be here at the office and everything too. So if you feel like it's going to be a rough situation, based off the phone call that you had with the manager or just looking up the area or the hospital, what you've heard, anything like that, I can always offer suggestions and what I've heard about it and stuff too. But you guys are the ones that have to work there.
Okay. In your humble opinion, who will win a fight between Iron Man and Thor? This is easy. If you've ever seen Avengers Endgame, my boy Iron Man. He's gonna put his life on the line.
Which is tough because
Thor's a god. Cool.
I know. Yeah, wow. But here's the deal.
Immortality.
Iron Man's suit is constantly failing him all the time. Okay. Every single movie he's in, it's failing him. Something's falling apart.
Wow.
That's why he has to have like 10 suits.
Have you seen Endgame? I don't think it failed the entire world. So when he hit the snap, baby.
So in one movie it was fine. The dude's a god. Are you kidding me?
Okay, here's the deal.
Man versus God.
Man versus God. That's like me versus you, basically. Well, I'm the god.
So before.
So yeah, you're not winning that fight. You're right. Okay, Thor. We'll go with Thor, only strictly because he's a god. But I like Iron Man better because he's cooler, man. He's witty. He's funny. Thor.
He is witty and funny.
Yeah. Muscular and good looking. Cool.
Just kidding.
So Thor. But Iron Man is gonna be close. He's gonna put up a fight. Great question. That was maybe my favorite question so far because I'll go hot. I get hot about these Marvel questions.
Apparently.
So I'm not messing around with Marvel, baby. So again, guys, I just wanted to give you a little info here. We're gonna do another cheap plug.
Yep.
If you want to go to LRS Healthcare on Facebook, find our posting from 8/25. That's August 25th. Do a little sign up. Get yourself a nice free pair of sunglasses. There's also one on August 23rd is what my guy in the back's telling me. So 23rd or 25th. Let me see if I can find the post so you guys can see what it looks like real quick. Just so you have an idea what you're looking at. Because I'm telling you, man, these are nice sunglasses. I'm not going to tell you that they're Ray-Bans, but they could be. Who knows? So let's see here. Let's see if I can do let me use the mouse. So it's this post right here. Hopefully this works. I know the Facebook stuff. Actually, let's just do this. I can't believe you're so down on Iron Man, if we're going to be honest right now.
I'm not down on Iron Man. I'm just being realistic.
Well, it's not really realistic. Well, we're talking about comic books, so I didn't know realistic was part of the...
Yeah, but if we're actually going to talk about who would potentially win in a fight, you got to be logical about it.
Oh, my wife's messaging me. Don't mind that. Sorry. Yeah, so right here on the LRS...
man, look at that. That's so weird. Look at that comment.
Martha Ray, my recruiter is amazing. Joe Stillman, weird.
No, that's not what it says.
Okay. Well, LRS Healthcare, if you go right here and you look, it's this National Sunglasses Day. Click on the site right there. You'll do a little sign up and then get yourself some free sunglasses, baby. Okay. Honestly, Captain America with Thor's hammer. I like where your head's at.
Yeah. Okay.
Captain America, I think, is kind of he's obviously a little bit of a god too.
Yeah.
But he's also kind of too I'm play by the rules all the time. I'm Captain America. I don't like that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nah, get Cap out of here, man. But that was a cool scene. So whoever said that, thanks. That was cool. Good memories. Do we have anybody on right now that are going to TravCon as well? Anybody that's live right now going to TravCon? Maybe? No? Okay.
Because we'll be there. So we'll be there Sunday
Mm-hmm.
as well, setting up. Monday, we'll have the conference, and then we're going to do our happy hour Monday night. Then we'll still be there Tuesday as well.
Yep. And then, we'll be there Tuesday. Because I think there's something, don't quote me, guys, because this is obviously our first time, but I think there's something Tuesday night, too, after the whole thing. There's a big event or something.
I think that
will be part of as well.
Cocktail hour or something.
Yeah, yep. So that'll be pretty fun. Very, very excited for TravCon. Like I said, I've done some of these takeovers that we've done. I've been to San Francisco, and then I've been to Tacoma. And the coolest part is kind of finally getting to meet you guys face to face, and hang out, and do something other than talk to you over the phone or text message or stuff like that. So it's cool.
And I think the other thing that we could talk about is just the resource that Gypsy Nurse has turned into, especially on Facebook, just as a resource for nurses to be able to ask questions to each other on there, for nurses to be able to ask recruiters questions, like I said, once again, just transparent questions. I think it's kind of the big thing and stuff too. I think it's done a really good job of bringing nurses and recruiters together too. So there's a lot more trust that's built on that, on the relationships and everything too. Because I think, at least for a long time, and especially there's still a little bit of it now. There's a little bit of a trust issue that goes into it too. I think nurses feel like a lot of times recruiters are used car salesmen a lot of times too, just trying to flip people in and out, moving people as fast as they can. But I think now it's come to the point now with Gypsy Nurse, especially on Facebook, where everybody can just kind of come together, ask each other questions, get stuff resolved as well. And it's a good place for people to vent and stuff too.
Yeah.
If you have issues and you want to just talk to other nurses that are potentially going through the same thing, you could even have recruiters weigh in on their, their position on it and everything too. It's been great.
Yeah, Gypsy Nurse has been the best. So,
do you guys want me to get you anything? Waters or drinks or anything?
Yeah, can you fill up my water?
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Thaddeus has a small bladder.
A tiny bladder.
So he will be using the restroom. We do have 2 hours here, guys. So no, I'm good. I'm good. Cool. I think I'll talk a little bit about kind of some stuff that I'd been talking about earlier. The market right now for travel nursing is, there's so many companies out there that you got to find the recruiter that you can trust. You got to find the recruiter that's going to kind of dive into what you really want, what's the best interest for you and stuff like that. So I think that's kind of what separates myself, Thaddeus, some of these other recruiters out here from the rest is I'm not just going to go over a script and ask you a bunch of general questions just to get your info and get you submitted to jobs. I'm going to genuinely ask you, about your family, about your life, about, why do you want to travel? Do you, money, location, what's going to be the best fit for you, which if you're not getting that on your first phone call, like I said before, you may want to start looking for another recruiter or maybe at least talking to some people just to see if you can find somebody who can build that relationship with you. Because like I said, the last thing that you want is to be stuck in a place in the middle of New Hampshire, for example, where you don't know anybody, you can't get a hold of your recruiter after 5, you're stuck there by yourself. It's maybe not a super traveler friendly facility. And then you're wanting to walk off or you're wanting to leave or you're just miserable. So, like I said, I'm pretty available almost all day long. I've always told my travelers, if you text me and I don't text you back right away, give me an hour or two. Maybe I'm with the family or something like that. Maybe my son's doing something, but I'll try to get back to you, any time of the day. There's times where I've been asleep, get a text at midnight, wake up at 1 or whatever, just because I wake up, and I'll try to shoot you a text back real quick. So just being available, I think, is super important, especially with you guys, because like Thaddeus said, you guys are the ones that at the assignments. You're doing the hard work. So I want to be available for you as much as I can. I want to help you as much as I can. So that's kind of what we do. Let's see here. Let's think of a couple of more hot jobs that we got around the nation. I believe we've got some stuff moving pretty quickly. Like I said, up in Yale. I would say Yale's moving within 3 to 5 days right now from submittal. So if you're looking for something that's moving pretty quick with a quick license, Yale is always a good opportunity. Pennsylvania, we've got some stuff. Geisinger's kind of hit or miss, but we do work with them quite a bit. So, there's been times before where they'll move super quickly for us. They've got a lot of travelers. I'm just trying to think of like some hot jobs, quick moving jobs, stuff like that for this time of year.
Yeah. Yeah, and Geisinger, and did you already talk about Yale and everything?
I did talk about
Yale. University of Vermont, Dartmouth Hitchcock, Eastern Maine Medical Center. These are some.
That Northeast is going to be big this time of year.
Yeah, Northeast will be big because it's tough to get people up there. I mean, NYU has a bunch of jobs and everything too. Other spots in New York have been pretty big. I mean, there's always stuff around Baltimore too. Man, Innova, Fairfax in Virginia, which is kind of Alexandria, Fairfax area, pretty close to DC. They are just begging for people right now too, and the rates have been really good. There's just been a ton of stuff there as well.
I would say also we've got a facility in Virginia in Lynchburg, Centra in Virginia that moves pretty quickly for us. Those are some hot jobs. They will take first-time travelers.
Centra, yes. Previously, they had originally said that they were not going to take first-time travelers, but yeah, they've kind of taken that by the wayside now, because I mean, it's a lot of times too, you get good nurses that are going to be first-time travelers and stuff too, and you want them to go to a facility like Central where they're going to utilize a lot of travelers and they know how to help people with their first assignments.
Yep, and that's just very traveler friendly there. They will move pretty quickly. Our Sutter facilities right now in California that have some of the increased rates, like your Sutter Modesto, your Sutter Mills Peninsula, they'll move pretty quickly for us right now. And like I said, they are trying to staff for their winter rates right now. So you may get like a later start, November, October, something like that. So those are always pretty hot. Raton, New Mexico, again, is always hot. We've got a couple of positions in Iowa right now that are moving pretty quickly that we're pretty close with them. I think an ICU, PCU position that's pretty close to Council Bluffs.
I mean, always ask us about our directs and stuff too, because I know a lot of people, especially you'll see, like Joe and I are on on Gypsy all the time, like looking at stuff. Like people end up getting canceled like in their first week, or they end up going out there not having something, something falls through or whatever. Reach out to your recruiter, reach out to us even if you want to, and say, hey, I need a job. I need to be able to start within the next like week. Let me know what you have, and we'll be like, okay, these are directs, blah blah blah. I can get you an interview probably today. And that's going to be your best bet at that aspect and stuff too.
Yep. Or if you've just been sitting out there for a while, man, even if it's something you didn't get canceled, but you've been sitting out for 2 or 3 weeks and you just need something, you're desperate. And we do have quite a few directs where they will move super quick for us. So just reach out and we can always get you something.
My nurse Valencia just texted me and said I look buff. Thanks, Valencia.
You're lying, Valencia.
It's the camera.
Yeah, it's the camera angle. How do I look? Look at that arm.
Broken. That's when you say
broken. Look at that arm. I don't know. You ever heard of Winter Soldier, bro?
Broken man. I think something else I want to talk about too, and see if we can get other people's insight in, is like, what do you like to do when you go to your assignments? What do you typically do when you go there and stuff? I know there's people that I've talked to that it was like they try and make friends with people at the hospital and try and do stuff with them on all their off shifts. Do you like to go to the beach if you're by the beach or anything like that too? Do you like to, what do you like to do for fun when you're on that? I always like to ask people that.
Are you somebody who likes to just do your 36 hours and maybe just chill for the rest of the week? Do you like to go out with some of the other travelers? What's some of the more fun things you guys have done? Or what are maybe some of the more fun places you've done an assignment at that you've maybe done some stuff that you never thought you'd ever do? We can get some people to maybe weigh in on that. Thaddeus doesn't do a lot of fun stuff, so he likes to hear about people that do fun stuff.
Yeah, I'm a 31-year-old, 65-year-old, basically. So
he does a lot of yard work.
A lot of projects in the house.
Yeah, I ask him for a lot of yard work help that he doesn't help me with. So
you just tell him you're a grown adult, you're a man, you're supposed to be able to do that.
I have one arm, I have one arm, so I guess my friend couldn't help me. It's okay. So. Does anybody have any other questions like recruiting? Oh, we got it. We got something. We got something, baby. Somebody said hi, Thaddeus.
I'm going to guess it's Valencia, maybe.
Hi, Valencia. What are some things for new travelers to be cautious about when it comes to different agencies? That's a good question.
Very good question.
It's a very good question.
Here's what I would do. Do your research on stuff, especially, like I said, Gypsy is such a good resource for even just finding out about hospitals, people's experiences, anything like that too. So if you're looking into an agency or have questions about an agency, I'd potentially post it up in Gypsy, see what other people's responses are and stuff too. Or you could just even go through Gypsy over the past couple months, even just to scroll back through some stuff, and you'll be able to find plenty of stuff on different agencies and whatnot.
Yep. And I would say feel it out, man. Feel out how those convos are going. Like we've talked here before, it's all about relationship building. If you feel like you're talking to a car salesman every time you get on the phone and they're not listening to one thing that you're saying, it might just not be the right agency for you. It might not be the right recruiter. But I do believe that the Gypsy Nurse is going to be a very, very valuable source for you, because you can always just plug in there, man. What does everybody think of LRS Healthcare? What does everybody think of this agency? And you're going to get a lot of responses. So it kind of helps narrow that out for you. I know that you can go, you can look at the reviews online. There's multiple different places you can look at reviews and stuff like that. That always kind of helps narrow stuff out. And, I would almost, this is my opinion, you can tell me what you think, maybe longevity of agencies. If it's somebody who's just opened, you may want to be a little bit more cautious just because they're brand new to the business. If it's somebody who's been doing it for a while, they may have more openings for you. They may have more, more job opportunity for you, more resources when you're getting your job. Like we have the travel experience team and stuff like that. So,
and you're most of the time at that point, you're probably going to find a recruiter that has good experience then too. Mm-hmm. They know where to look for jobs. They know what to do. They know how the process goes pretty much in their sleep at that point. I think that's probably going to be the most important thing for sure.
What are your resources for agency arranged housing?
Good question. So there's literally, so we have our, like we said, our traveler experience team. They handle our housing and everything as well. They'll literally utilize anything for housing, whether it's furnish finders, they're going to do Craigslist, they're going to do Facebook, they're going to do the different Facebook pages for stuff. Yep. They're going to do Airbnb, they're going to do VRBO. They're going to literally, like I said, anything and everything that anybody's ever used to try and find housing. These guys have a beat on it.
They're going to use past travelers that we've had at the assignment. Yep. Maybe they found housing that we didn't find when they got there. We're going to use that. We have facilities that can give us some recommendations from time. Some of these direct facilities that we have, they'll say that, we've got this, and this for housing. So, anything you can think of as a resource for housing, that department uses that.
Yep. And I know a lot of times too, you talk to a recruiter and everything and you figure out where they're looking for jobs. And it's like, okay, let me talk to my nurse that's at, here to see if they can help me do something. We talked about Raton and stuff too. Melissa, my nurse, L&D nurse down in Raton, she was looking to go back and everything too, but it was like we're kind of scrambling to try and find some housing again. Her housing that she had used previously had kind of fallen through. So I even reached out to Valencia and was like, hey, you got any ideas on housing? She's there, so she knows. And she's like, yeah, let me look around. Within 2 hours, we had located her housing again then too. So, just being able to utilize other people that you have in different circumstances and stuff is just it's so nice. And that's where that relationships that you have with your nurses is so important.
Yep, I would agree with that. So, but yeah, anything you can think of, we're using it. I know a lot of people that I've been helping lately. Furnish Finder has been a big one. It's been very, very helpful. I know we've put a lot of people in Furnish Finder places, so that's been pretty big. I think that's even a little bit better than Airbnb now. I know Airbnb was kind of hot for a while, but Airbnb kind of a little sticky. Yeah, you don't know what you're getting with Airbnb.
Furnish Finder did a really good job kind of updating their website and stuff too, so you have the ability to just look for a location and stuff, and it'll literally just tell you anything and everything that's within a certain distance from it as well. And then it has a breakdown of what everything looks like, the dates that you're kind of looking. So it's similar to how Airbnb was set up before, but it's actually a little bit more user-friendly now.
Thaddeus also said if you have a job in Omaha, he's got a house. So
I do extra bedroom in the house and
extra bedroom for free. He won't even charge you. He's not even going to charge you. This guy. He's not going to charge you.
My cath lab pair that's at Stanford right now. They drove through Omaha from Bridgeport, Connecticut on the way out, and they have 2 dogs, and they came over, and we have a dog as well too. So they played in the backyard, and I was like, you guys might as well just stay the night tonight, so you don't have to pay for a hotel. They wouldn't do it, but I offered. So this is actually a real thing.
Yeah, this is real. I would also do that. I don't have a spare bedroom though, so it's going to be a little crowded if I did that. So, I don't know if anybody wants to take me up on that offer, but sorry guys, the arm's hurting a little bit right now, so we're just trying to find a comfortable area for the cast. Do we have anybody online yet that's going to TravCon? Anybody going to TravCon at all? Anything? Nope, nobody. Okay, well, we'll be there. Booth. You know what? Let me grab it.
I know 2 of my nurses are going to be there, so hopefully we
Let
see
me grab it. Hold on.
You might as well just leave that up
Nope.
there. You just have to keep bending down to get it.
Booth 414. What are we? Booth 414, baby.
That's
what the strap.
We'll be doing this the whole time.
You want to come for the strap? I'll see you at booth 414. Monday through Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that. We don't know the exact schedule.
Monday. We'll set up on Sunday.
Strap.
And it'll be conference Monday.
No, I'm gonna leave this right here. They gave me this title for being the best recruiter in the history of recruiting.
That's why it says nothing about recruiting.
That's not true. You guys can't see what it says. So there's my hands here. So
I'll read it
right here like this. So yeah, you guys want the strap? TravCon, baby, come for it.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are coming through Omaha at any point here too,
yeah,
we just, like I said, we just moved in the new building and stuff. We'd love to host some, even if you're not working for us or anything, we'd love to meet you. Potentially talk about any time during the, down the road. We could help you out, let you know what we offer and everything too. So no expectations.
Corey, if you're watching this, Corey Dick, if you're live right now,
hi Corey.
Hi. First of all, we'll be doing lunch after this, so get ready for that, buddy.
I didn't get an invite.
Corey has been and you know what? That's on purpose. So, Corey was one of my friends for a very, very long time. I've known him since the supplement business, and he was doing some traveling. And then when I got into doing travel staffing, we finally, I think it was probably 3 assignments in, we were finally able to start working together. And now we've done, he did South Dakota for a full contract and then a full extension, and now he's going to Milwaukee, baby. Milwaukee, the city that never sleeps, I think, or something.
That's not it. We've known Corey a long time, 7-8 years now, probably.
Yep. Also the Gypsy Nurse Housing. Gypsy Nurse Housing.
That's what we're talking about too.
Yep.
Gypsy Nurse Housing Facebook
That's
page.
huge, man. I've used that so many times.
Facebook is just such a good resource. Obviously, Gypsy resource to be able to ask questions and stuff to other travelers. The housing thing too. Just reach out to on there, and you'd be so surprised how many people. I've had probably 3 people just in the past, probably 2 weeks, that have just reached out on there to find housing for themselves. We didn't even make it through the traveler experience process finding housing before they even located it for themselves.
I tell you what, if you're going to the Bay Area, the Facebook Gypsy Housing is huge.
Super nice.
Because I've had a couple people where it is a little bit tough to find some stuff in the Bay Area, but you post on there, does anybody have a room for rent, or does anybody have a house for rent, or whatever, and you're going to get quite a bit of response. So we've had a lot of luck using them for especially California stuff. Does LRS do allied health? Absolutely, we do allied health. We have a whole division just specifically for allied health. So anything you can think of, respiratory, cardiopulmonary, all that stuff.
Yep.
Can you weigh in on using multiple agencies at one time? Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean that's something that's part of the industry, and I mean I feel like a lot of times too, the other recruiters and stuff will get frustrated when nurses use certain agencies and everything too. At the end of the day, you got to do what's best for yourself. Like I said, you're the ones that are going to these assignments, but you're also the ones that got to be lining up these jobs and stuff for yourself. So it only makes sense for you to kind of play the field a little bit to be able to kind of figure out what's going to be the best fit situation for you. And
I would also say, be careful talking to too many, because you will have agencies that will just start submitting you without saying anything, and you don't ever want that situation where maybe you're double submitted and you missed out on a job because maybe somebody had submitted you that you didn't even talk to, and then the agency you wanted to work with tried to submit you and they said no, we can't, they've already been submitted by so and so. So if you're, from my experience, 2 to 3 agencies, is a lot of times what a lot of seasoned travelers will use, but you also want to find maybe the 1 or 2 people that you trust a lot that you can go to, with anything. And because like Thaddeus said, ultimately it's what's going to be best for you,
And you're gonna be having to work for this agency just like you're gonna be having to work for this hospital. So you gotta, like you said, you gotta find one that you're gonna be comfortable with, that you have a good relationship with, because that's who you're gonna be talking to every week. Like if you're already having a kind of an uncomfortable relationship where it's not necessarily that, you're not happy with the situation. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be a good fit. And the course of the assignment, it's probably not going to get better.
When you're first traveling, you may talk to multiple agencies until you can find that one recruiter that is really the good fit for you.
There's this gal Martha Ray that's working for me in Stanford right now. She exact same thing. I just talked to her for like a half hour last night about it, And she was like, man, I talked to like 2 or 3 other agencies and stuff too. And it was like, crickets after 24 hours on certain things and stuff too. It just wasn't a good fit. And then it was like, finally got in touch with you guys and stuff too. And it was like, it was super easy, walked me through the whole process, kind of laid out a template for me almost, I was like, that was exactly what I was looking for.
Yep. Don't think just on that first phone call. If you don't feel comfortable on that first phone call with that recruiter, with any agency, don't think you've got to work with them.
Yep. Especially as a first time traveler, like I said, Martha was too. That's going to be the biggest one where you need to feel comfortable with your agency, because that first one is your make or break one if you continue traveling, like we talked about.
We've got a nice little TravCon plug here. LRS Healthcare is hosting a happy hour from 17:15 to 19:15. Yeah, it's military time.
I want to see if it actually said it or not.
No, it didn't. I did that in my head. On Monday, September 9th, at BLT Steak at Bally's. We would love everybody to join. Just a nice time to kind of get together, mingle, and have a good time out there in Vegas. So again, that is Monday, September 9th, BLT Steak at Bally's. So I believe once you leave the conference, you can come right up to us that day. So, and that's from 5:15 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. or for my nurses out there, what's up? 17:15 p.m. to 19:15 p.m. So
Joe, what time zone is that in?
That's going to be your Mountain Time.
Mountain Standard Time.
Mountain Standard Time. That's going to be 1 hour behind us, Thaddeus. Thank you very much. I'm great with time and numbers. So yeah. Anybody have any experiences I know we'd asked this a little bit ago, but any cool experiences that you guys have been doing when you're traveling? Something you never thought you'd do, something, anybody has reasons, I started traveling for this. I've done all these cool things where I've paid off, traveling has helped me pay off all of this stuff. I know a lot of people, I think Corey told me, Corey Dick again. Hi, Corey.
Corey posted on Facebook too, I think, about paying off.
Yeah. Corey paid off, I believe, all of his student loans finally. And he's only been traveling for a little bit over a year now, maybe close to 2 years. But yeah, it was pretty cool to see that, because I know nursing school is not cheap.
No, God, no.
No.
Yeah.
My school wasn't cheap, and it wasn't.
You're buying a very nice car for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Didn't think you were going to buy a Porsche.
No. Yeah. Didn't think you were going to spend all your life paying student loans. So. Again, guys. I know.
Something I was like, I know. I sent. So I still have some nurses in Wilmington, North Carolina, at New Hanover. Basically, they told me too, is like, I want to go to the beach every day. So that's what they do. They go to the beach every day. Even after shifts and stuff too. They'll head out there to the beach and stuff. They have a really nice boardwalk there in Wilmington. It's one of those things too, where it's like that's the reason people travel. They're like, make good money, go see some cool stuff, go to the beach, or you like. I just talked to my nurse Lauren this morning. Her and her boyfriend want to go somewhere where they can, ski and snowboard. So that's the next spot that we're going to look at. Yep. Whether it's East Coast, Vermont, something like that. We're going to go Colorado and, maybe Wyoming, Montana. Maybe Raton.
Maybe Raton, New Mexico. Huh? Right near everything. So, yep, I would say this time of year, just to just give anybody insight, if you are cool with being pretty cold and seeing a lot of snow, you're going to get a job pretty easy in the Northeast. So if you're somebody who is worried about stuff moving quickly, if you can open up to that Northeast, you're going to have a lot of success up there. So, because I know a lot of people this time of year will say, can you send me to the Carolinas, or can you send me to something down south, your Georgia, your Louisiana, stuff like that. 100%, we can always do that for you. It just may not move as fast, or it may not pay as well as that Northeast, because that Northeast needs those people this time of year, and that pay does tend to go up a little bit. So, Thaddeus, why don't you just tell them a little bit? What's a day in the life of Thaddeus? It's a day in the life of Thaddeus here at the office.
Here at the office?
Yeah.
Man, so we will show up in the morning, try and show up early, obviously, to get ahead of everything.
Hold on.
Wake up.
Well, it depends on the day. So sometimes
some of us show up early.
So I'll try and get up at 4:30 sometimes to go to the gym, but that probably only happens like once a week.
That's not true.
But since we moved offices, we now have this gym right next to the office, so we can just go over there at lunch as well, or go right there in the morning, shower, and then come walking over here. But I mean, we'll get in here in the morning, assess any text messages, anything like that, emails and stuff from the night before, because obviously, you know, a lot of you guys work nights too, so we got to stay on top of everything. So we'll do that right away in the morning. A lot of times I'll literally just roll out of bed, unplug my phone, look at it, start going through stuff, start responding, doing that, and then start following up with everybody from there. We show up here, try and do anything we can. Possibly we have about a half hour before we have a leadership meeting in the morning, and then start fielding phone calls, looking for jobs, all that kind of stuff too. That's pretty much how our day is encompassed, is looking for jobs, talking to people, making phone calls. As you see, I work a lot for myself, and there's a lot of text messages that I do throughout the day because, you know, it's a lot of times it's just easier to have that communication over text messages. If it's somebody that you have a relationship with already built, it's pretty easy to do. So there's a lot of communication that comes that way.
Yeah, that was a very good politically correct answer, Thaddeus. Let me tell you what my day consists of. I'm going to roll out of bed 7-ish probably. Maybe, well, with the arm now, probably getting up at 6:30, get the trash bag on it and get the shower in.
He says bed loosely. A lot of times I'm pretty sure he finds himself on the couch. We used to live together.
I have sleep apnea. That's not a joke, Thaddeus. So how dare you?
I can't believe you guys
you would do this.
Have you guys ever seen the movie Alien? So I told Joe I was gonna buy him. So that in the movie Alien, they have the little aliens that like jump out of the egg things and like latch onto people's faces. So we're gonna buy Joe a sleep apnea mask, CPAP mask that you can just put on his face like that.
Yeah, so my son can never sleep again when he sees me. Yeah, that's gonna be great. Anyway,
that's how I scare him away from my daughter.
So no. Anyway, your boy's rolling out of bed 6:30, maybe 7, depending on the morning. Gonna get that shower in. Gonna head to work. I'm showing up anywhere between 7:45 ish,
okay,
and 8. Now that we're at the new office, the old office, the drive was a little bit different.
Guys, today's Thursday. We moved in on Monday. It's been 4 days, and I'm pretty sure.
Well, I've only been here 2 of those days too, because your boy had the surgery.
So yesterday, what time did you show up yesterday?
Yesterday, I got here promptly 7:52-ish, probably.
And today you were here pretty early today.
Yeah, I got here real early, prepping for all my Facebook people out there. What's up? Get here right around 8 every single day. Like Thaddeus said, I'll do a little bit of, I'll do a round around the office. I like to get the vibe up in here, talk to some of my peeps, check some emails real quick, hang out in the kitchen, maybe heat up a meal or two. Then we'll do our leadership meeting at 8:30. We'll go, usually what we do in there is we'll go over some outstanding offers or something like that if we've got offers for nurses hanging out there. And then after that, it's wide open, baby. I'm checking emails. I'm making calls. We do some training here at the office, so that I like to do a lot of help with the training. You know, I could be in multiple meetings because I'm very important. And that's just facts.
It sounds like Joe's not trying to work all day, is what.
Well, the thing is this. What is work really?
That is true.
It's just what you make it, I think. So, and I make it just a nice, fun environment. And that's what I do for my nurses, man. Let me tell you what. Make things fun for you guys. If you want somebody who's going to send you some funny gifts, maybe when you're having a rough shift, look no further than your boy. Yeah, there. Okay. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, it is a pretty busy work day. You know, we're always constantly. I can't. Sometimes I can't. But it is a pretty busy work day. I mean, we're constantly on the phones. We're constantly fielding calls. Like I said, you know, Thaddeus and I are a little bit more seasoned here at the company. So we're training new people, you know, basically holding the company afloat, I would say. You know? That I maybe not holding it afloat, but we are helping a lot. So, but yeah, love working here. Probably the most fun job I've ever had.
Absolutely. Easily. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you're basically your own boss for most things and everything. You get to run your desk how you want to. You get to build your relationships like you want to. Yeah, it is sales and it's customer service and everything, but if you're that type of person that, I mean, most of the time, like, if you're good at this job, you're a people pleaser, personality-wise anyways. So if you can incorporate all those aspects into your job and everything too, it just makes it that much easier, makes it that much better. And you get the freedom to to do it how you want.
That is what's nice here. We get a little bit more freedom, so we don't have set packages that we have to pitch to people. I know some companies will do that. We have a little bit more freedom to kind of move some money around how we see fit, or what's going to be best for you, or maybe with what you need. So that's kind of what's cool about here too. Question of the day, and I don't think you're ready for it. And whoever asked this, thank you so much for this. Who would win in a fight between you two, being me, Thor, and Iron Man? First of all, my first question would be,
Timeout. Did this dude just try and flip the whole role reversal on this whole thing? This whole argument that I made about Thor just taking out Iron Man 2. Now he's all of a sudden Thor?
Yeah, because I'm godlike.
Secondly, call that a nice heel turn right there.
Honestly, this is the thing. If we're staying on, if we're going to the ground, I'm going to give it to Thad. He's kind of like a little pit bull. He's real short. It's going to be hard for me to get under him. So he's probably going to double leg me. That's going to be his go-to move.
Here's the deal. It's going to the ground immediately. It's going to the ground immediately.
No, I've got pretty strong legs. So
okay.
Also, am I fighting with one arm or two right now? Not that it's going to probably matter.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, because I'm going to hit you. Here's the
you got a better chance with the cast.
Honestly, yeah, because I'm dropping
you better try
6 to 12.
You better try and forearm shiver me immediately.
6 to 12 all day.
That's your
UFC
best,
style. I've been watching a lot of UFC lately.
And you're slow too. So you ain't getting
that kind of hurt a little bit from my friend. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go me. If you want the real answer, if you want an honest to God answer, I'm gonna go me. I've got the strength, I've got the size, I've got potentially the speed. He's getting older. I've got the looks, so I'm not gonna let him hit this.
How much older than me are you? 2, 3 years?
That's nobody's business. So
I still got the hair.
Okay, don't do that with the hair thing.
I think we know. I think we know.
Yeah, me,
guys.
So, great question though. Thank you for that, Facebook user. Me. Again, guys, I'm just gonna plug this real quick. We're hosting happy hour at Bally's at the BLT Steak, September 9th, 5:15 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. And also we'll plug this real quick, and I'll actually pull this up again. If you would like some free LRS sunglasses,
and I know you do,
man. They're slick.
The company went to the zoo about a month ago, and we were all supposed to wear the sunglasses there and everything too. They're awesome. They're legit sunglasses.
If you would like to get your hands on a pair of those, go to LRS Healthcare on Facebook. There's a posting from August 25th as well as August 23rd. I may have our social media just throw it up again today, just so it's up. Yeah, Patrick, can we do that? Okay, we just got word we can do that. That way it's kind of up on the top. But yeah, it'll be it'll have hashtag National Sunglasses Day on there. Click on that. It'll take you to something to sign up for the free sunglasses, and we should be able to get you out a nice little pair. So, beach life, baby. For those North Carolina, for where they at?
They're in Wilmington.
For Wilmington, North Carolina people.
Yep.
Get yourself a pair of them sunglasses.
Yeah, one of them even got, I think it was honestly from the Gypsy housing too, that she had found it. She actually stayed on a houseboat there as well in the bay for a little bit as well.
I stayed on a houseboat once.
You did? She said after about 2 or 3 weeks, it got a little rough.
It gets real rough.
Rocking all the time and everything too. So, but it was cool for a little bit.
Yep. So, do we have any more questions for maybe some first-time travelers, anything like that? Thaddeus, what would you say would be, I know we've talked about like what to do as a first-time traveler, but what would you say as far as maybe finding an ideal job would be the best advice for a first-time traveler?
To find an ideal job?
Yeah, being more open maybe. Yeah. I mean, what would you say?
I would just say, so first and foremost, you got to find that recruiter you can trust, and then from that point too, then you can kind of transition and move forward to the next step of potentially looking at that too. So you trust this person, so you're going to say, as a first-time traveler, based on my experience, based on licenses that I potentially have, where do you suggest that I go for my first assignment? And if your recruiter is decent at their job, they're going to give you a couple of good options that they think is going to be, obviously potentially interview fast, that we've had people at before, potentially have people at there now. So we know how the experience is and everything too. And then you're going to figure out what you're looking at for money-wise and everything, make sure it's going to make sense. Housing costs, make sure that's going to make sense to you too. You can always run an average to figure out what it potentially is going to be. Even before you look for housing, figure out what the median cost of housing is going to be. And then just figuring out how everything else is going to fall into place. You're going to, everything at home, what's going to take care of stuff at home and stuff too. So kind of get that stuff in line, and then let your recruiter kind of tell you what he or she feels like it's going to be the best fit for you. And then from there, let you narrow it down. I always tell people, just give me a thumbs up and thumbs down based on this. Ask me more questions about it if you'd like to. We can dig into it a little bit as well, and then we can just go from there. Pretty simple.
I like that. I would probably agree with most of that. Basically, yeah. I think the biggest advice would be find the location you want to go to, but maybe have a couple of backup locations. Yep. Because potentially, as a first-time traveler, there are going to be instances where the hospital will not take you. They just don't want to work with first-time travelers. That's just their preference. Okay. So if you've got maybe a couple of backup locations, just so we're not stuck on one thing, where it's going to maybe be potentially very hard to impossible to get you that. If you can have those backup locations, that's going to really benefit you as well. Maybe 2 to 3 different ideas of what you want to do.
Pick your top 2, and you maybe have one that it's like, hey, this is probably a shot in the dark. As far as my first assignment goes and everything too, you may know that they don't use first-time travelers, but you might just try it anyways. And then have a couple of realistic backups and everything for it too. It's like, hey, if I'm offered this job here, I'm going to take it, but it's not necessarily my first choice. And you got to be okay with that too. Is kind of the other thing that I would suggest to people. It's like, it's kind of the old adage, what everybody says. You can do anything for 13 weeks. Make some decent money, get a travel assignment on your resume. That's always the biggest thing too. Get that first travel assignment on your resume. Build your resume so it says it's a pretty decent hospital. Get some good experience there and everything too. And then it kind of opens up from there for you.
Yep. And I would say just a little bit of advice for maybe some ER nurses out there. If you're thinking about traveling, if you can at any time at your staff position now, try and get a TNCC, try and get your CPI. Stuff like, especially now, a lot of these facilities that want travelers are going to require ER nurses to have these CPIs. Mm-hmm.
It used to, even just a couple of years ago, and I know you know this too, it was like TNCC for sure. Yep. Before that, you could usually get away with just potentially a PALS or ENPC or something like that. But now it's like, hey, if you don't have that TNCC, you're definitely not getting a job. And a lot of them now are moving towards, if you don't have CPI, you can either potentially get it there, but that doesn't happen all the time either, or you need to have it before you go there, which for people that know, CPI is an expensive certification to get, and then sometimes it's kind of hard to find too.
Yep. Same with TCI, man. TCI is not cheap, and it's not necessarily easy to find those classes either. So if you can get into them, even as an ICU nurse, if you can get a couple more certs under your belt, it's always going to look better. But for sure, for travelers, for like your ER and stuff like that, if you can get your TNCC, if you can get your CPI, that's going to go a long way. We're not saying you can't get a job without them, but it's going to go a long way to opening up more possibilities with them.
Yep. It's the same thing too, with shifts and everything, as everybody knows. It's like, a lot of people, if they had the potential to do it, they'd like to work days. But a lot of times too, your travel jobs, a lot of what you're going to see, sometimes even up to like 75% are going to be nights, just because it's what's left over from what the staff nurses potentially don't want to do. Or, they've just had some different issues and stuff in the facility where they're needing to move people around, and this is what they have open. So you as people that have traveled for a while know that it's going to be, there's going to be a lot of nights. Same thing. It's like you're just checking these boxes off from yourself. If you're flexible on shift, you have these certifications and stuff too. You're just making yourself that much more marketable to these facilities.
As a traveler, the more flexible you can be, the easier it's going to be for you to get these interviews and get these jobs, especially as a first-time traveler.
Yep.
Like I said, there are going to be facilities that are super picky and stuff like that. So if you can be flexible on shift, if you can be flexible on schedule, because I know a lot of people will want set schedules or block schedules. As a first-time traveler and you're really just trying to get into the game and you're just wanting to get that first assignment under your belt, if you and your recruiter can find a good option, and you're pretty open for schedule, you're not picky, stuff like that, you're not picky about shifts, that's going to go a long way for sure. But I will tell you too, man, there's a lot of facilities. If you're a seasoned traveler, and I know there's a lot of travelers that, you'll do your 3 shifts. You want your 3 shifts in a row, and then, you want your time off or whatever like that. There are a lot of facilities that will accommodate that. But I've always told my people, make sure you're always talking about that kind of stuff in the interview.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. I don't think we've touched on that yet, especially for first-time travelers. You're going to probably have a lot of questions about like the floor, about the patient ratios, about maybe what kind of patients you're taking and stuff like that. We're not going to get a ton of information. We'll try to get you as much information as we can. We're not going to get a ton of information about the specific floor. We're basically just getting jobs sent from these hospitals or these vendors saying, can you fill this for us? So if you have any questions like that, start writing them down during the process. And if you get an interview, make sure you ask them, because 9 times out of 10, you're going to interview with the nurse manager or the director or somebody who's going to have that info. So if you want a block schedule, maybe you prefer it, but you don't have to have it. Just ask them, are you guys open to blocking schedules? What's the patient ratio? What kind of patients are we going to be seeing here? Stuff like that.
Yep. So it's always, and I always tell people too, when you're doing these interviews, you're going to interview the manager just as much as they're interviewing you about the facility, the position, like you said, patients, different caseload, all that kind of stuff too, just depending on what you're doing. You want to ask them specific questions like that too. And be transparent with them like you are with the recruiter and everything. Like, here's what I'm looking for, and you don't have to, and obviously try not to be rude about it or anything. And, try not to ask for just crazy things that they're going to say no to, because it potentially turn them off as far as your interview goes. But at that opportunity, it's like, hey, what does the schedule typically look like right now? When people are given a report, when do they usually get out of there? All that kind of stuff too. You ask anything. What are you guys using for charting? You can kind of even tell them situational questions based off of, what they said the patient population is or what they said the unit's like. You're selling yourself just as much as that manager is trying to sell the hospital to you then too.
And I always say, don't be afraid to be very upfront about time off, very upfront about everything. I know a lot of times too, we'll get people where we'll have an offer and then after the fact, they'll want some time off. Anytime that we can make things a little bit more streamlined and a little bit quicker, the process is going to be smoother. So if you have time off or you need something or you've got something coming up, always be upfront with that with your recruiter. We would much rather, before we submit you, put in the profile, they need these days off, then get an offer and then go back to them and say, oh, by the way, can you accommodate this?
Yeah. It ends up being a tough situation. You potentially put a bad taste in the manager's mouth. Then I'm like, I had this conversation with them. I thought I went really well. Then they just dropped this time off on me after the fact. I wish they would have just been upfront as far as the time off goes and everything too.
Yep.
So that's what we're just saying. Transparency across the board is always just the best policy on everything. And we're going to be as transparent with you guys as possible on everything too. So we just hope that's how the relationship goes. That's all.
Yep. Transparency is going to be the key with your interviews, with the recruiter you're working with. Like I said before, when Thaddeus was using the restroom, it's a saturated market, man. There's a lot of agencies. So if you can find that person that you guys can 100% be on the same page and be 100% honest with each other with what you want and have the best interest of each other in mind, that's going to go a long way.
I wish. What's that?
Any questions coming in?
Do we got any more questions from the Facebook family? I'm going to call it the Facebook family. That sounds kind of cool.
Kind of up to you guys at this point. So we have a half hour left, but if it's slowing down, you guys can wrap up what we want to do. Unless you got anything else you want to cover.
I don't think we have too much more we're going to cover. I think we're going to probably go off here shortly.
And Joe and I both are on Facebook and everything too. Joseph Stillman, Thaddeus James Becker.
Joe Stillman.
Is it Joe Stillman?
It's Joe. There? Yeah.
I'll change it. It'll be Joseph.
Yeah, but we're both on Facebook. Also, if you guys have any questions about any of the stuff we talked about today, feel free to direct message me. I will be available at all times. Direct message Thaddeus. Yep. We're always available, like I said.
The LRS healthcare page is always available too. If you want to ask direct questions there too, they can just grab whoever's available at that point too. If you need something answered immediately. Yep. But like I said, Joe and I always have our phones and everything too. So Facebook goes right here, emails go right here, texts go right here, and everything too. So they're always available.
And if you're looking for jobs for us, like I said, lrshealthcare.com. Go to search for job right there on the top right corner, and that's going to be the easiest way to start finding the jobs for us. So we appreciate everybody getting on live with us, taking time out of your busy days. It's been fun.
It's been
This
very
could be
fun.
weekly. Do you think this could be weekly?
This could be weekly.
This could be, if you guys want this.
We're gonna need some more questions though.
Yeah, if you guys want this, more this, less this, weekly, hey baby, we're here for you. Oh, we might potentially have another. Hold on. Sometimes recruiters talk about vendors. What exactly is their role? Oh, that is a very, very good question.
Very good question. So I guess so. Sometimes recruiters talk about vendors. So a lot of times the vendors are going to be
The middleman.
the agencies as well. They have middlemen that are basically their vendor management system. So they're vendors. So this is where all the jobs are for that specific vendor. And so some of these other agencies they have their own vendor management system, and that's where they book people through. But they'll also subcontract it out to a lot of other agencies. Like we have some direct contracts, and then we also are subcontracted through some of the other vendors that we have to go through in order to get positions placed as well. So that's kind of, that's a simple overview.
I would just say the vendors, they're kind of the middlemen. So they're the ones kind of filtering through the profiles and stuff like that and sending to the hospitals. If they, when they take a look at those profiles, if it matches what they need, then they will send it to the facility to be reviewed by the manager.
Yeah. Another way of potentially putting it is like these vendors are going to be posting the jobs based off of what these hospitals are telling them they have needs for.
Yep.
And then so all these other agencies that are subcontracted through them, if they want to place people at these hospitals, they have to go through these vendors in order to place them. And so this is the place where the hospitals set the rates, do all that kind of stuff, tell them as far as shifts, what they're looking for. The vendors are the ones that actually speak to the hospitals themselves too, because we can't have any direct contact with the hospitals. We actually have to go through the middleman in order to do it then too.
Yep. So that's the biggest, I would say that's the biggest thing too about what we were talking about with interviews. If you go through a vendor system and you have an interview and then after the fact you have a question or you have time off request or something like that, then we have to go to the vendor, have the vendor get a hold of somebody, then them come back to the vendor, and it just drags the process out a little bit. So if you can be upfront that first time through, that's going to be the easiest way to get stuff done and the quickest way. So
it helps cut through a lot of red tape. It really does.
So I hope that answers all the questions. If there are no more questions, we're going to sign off, baby. It's been fun. If you want this weekly, baby, let us know.
We can make it happen.
We can make it happen. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Again, LRS Healthcare, Joe Stillman. Joe Stillman. Hit him one time. Thaddeus Baker, or for the people that really know him, Thaddeus Becker. We've had a great time. It's been fun. And hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.